Hey everybody, happy Easter! My name is Holly Lamb and welcome to my home. Today we celebrate the risen Lord. Jesus has risen from the grave and he has promised life eternal to those who believe in him. And in my video today, I'm doing some stuff a little bit different. I am working in conjunction with several other crafters. We're crafting our stash. And when I heard that, I thought, oh yes, I've got a big stash. I have lots of things. And so I got this beautiful decoupage paper. I ordered it from JRV Vintage from her website, she and her husband Jeb. And they put out these gorgeous decoupage papers. And when I saw this one on their website, I had to have it. Look at these chicks and bunnies and the lambs. It is gorgeous. And so when I heard about this challenge, I thought, well, I'm going to take just stuff from my stash and I'm going to put these beautiful decoupage pictures on just random things that I have around here. I also got these little cuties that I wanted to kind of add to the fun from the Dollar Tree. Look how cute. They've got their little feet. So we're going to do a little bit of fun with those. And let's start with taking a look at some random stuff I had in my stash that I thought I could use with this gorgeous paper. Now this paper it's a little thicker than tissue paper. It's 18 pounds. Paper, so it's substantial. You can see some of the fold lines there, but you won't see those when I decoupage them onto these random pieces of wood. Those little rectangular blocks were from the bins. They were from the toy section. Those tins, aluminum tins, those are also from the Goodwill bins. You know, those things that just weigh near to nothing that, you know, you can get from the bins. Of course, that is a jelly jar. And that little guy, that little shaker is from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to zhuzh it up a little bit. Here are my friends from YouTube, other creators, and we'll talk more about them. And of course, the playlist is below if you want to check that out for lots of inspiration about using your stash. All right, so here's some common things that I have around here. I save all bottles and cans, and I did a tray. That tray was in a video that I used before. And that first spray paint, now this spray paint is probably my favorite. I use Rust-Oleum a lot. It's probably my choice. But that Color Shot, that also I got at Walmart. It ends up being, it's a smaller can, so it looks like it's cheaper. I think they're $5 a can, but it's less. You get more in the Rust-Oleum can. So honestly, I think it just kind of evens out. And they both worked well as primer. I used that flat white. Now I'm just outside doing a little bit of sanding. I like to do my sanding out at the on my deck, and so it doesn't make such a mess in the house, and I don't have to breathe it in. It was a nice day, so I'm just kind of taking this rough-hewn board that was left over when Kevin was doing something for the deck, and I'm going to use those. So again, these items I got in the Goodwill bins, just you know, pilfering through the stuff, all kinds of treasures to be found. And so I've got a lot of this and that in my stash, floating around in my closets and under beds and whatnot. And so I'm using Plaster Waverly chalk paint. It's not plaster, that's the color, and that's my white of choice. I like this white. It's a little bit of an off-white. All right, now those right there, of course, those came from the Dollar General, and I got those on a clearance, so I think I paid like 30 cents for those, and so I have several, and we're going to do 4 of them in the video today. And then here we go. I'm going to put a little bit of that super glue you get at Dollar Tree and make sure that my little chicks and bunnies are not going to pop apart, because I'm going to try to get rid of that line where they connect. Yep, there's the super glue. I love that super glue. It works very well. So there we go. Give it a little pop. Now, very nice. Now you see the little line, of course, where they come together. I also had this little guy. I just had one of him. So he was floating around. I said, well, let's see what we can do with there. Of course, he's perfectly smooth except for his ears, so we're going to use some stickers in a minute to give him some eyes and a nose. But all of my items are going to get 3 coats. That's what I prefer. So here we go. All of my little plaster painted items, including the chicks and the bunnies, the 2 types of bunnies, the kind with the feet, and then the one that didn't have feet. It just has a little flat bottom. And there's my decoupage paper. I've got it cut into rectangles. Now, we're going to do some blue. I got some little magnets from the Dollar Tree. One looks like a cutting board and another looks like a, a mason jar. And I like the way they look right here, but we're going to do a little makeover. Now, this paint I got at the Restore, at the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and it was called Watery. And it's one of those mist tints, but look at that pretty blue. I love it. It's a satin finish. I got that jug for, I think, $3 and used barely any of it for this particular DIY, but it is certainly going to be coming out again. I really like that blue, especially with summer coming up. And so this also got 3 coats. I am going to be putting the decoupage paper on top, but it's light enough to not to dull the decoupage paper too much. It does get nice and light once I put a couple of coats of this satin finish on it. Normally you like to put white underneath decoupage paper if you want the pictures to really look true to color. And of course, we all probably have these tag signs from Dollar Tree. This one was just in the stores. You might still be able to find it now. It was the one that was 2-sided. That was new, I think. I don't know that they've had 2-sided signs before. I could be wrong, but I remember thinking that it was actually 2 different signs until I realized, oh yeah, this is on both sides. But anyway, we're going to go ahead. All of these blanks, I'm calling these blanks because I'm, giving them new life and they're going to get made into something new. I'm making all of these 2-sided. Well, most all of them. There's a few that will be strictly Easter. But I'm reserving the right to flip them over and add something else. Maybe a patriotic theme, or maybe, lemons and citrus. Or, maybe we'll do mushrooms and little gnomes, fairy garden kind of thing. Okay, now do you see that where you can still see the sheen of the lettering? I didn't take off the paper, which I certainly could have, but oh, it's such a mess to do that. So this is way easier in my opinion. Take some baking soda and mix into your paint. And this will cover up that kind of the embossing of the lettering from the original sign. And I'm going to do this later on some hardback books too. And so the more baking soda you put in, the better this is going to do. I don't like to put in too much. Too much will make your possibly make your paint kind of chip off. But just enough to where it's, when I pick up the brush, it's just kind of barely getting ready to drip off, but holding on pretty well to the brush. You can see I've got a pretty thick consistency there. And so that's going to cover up that little spot where the tail was, where I just ripped off the tail and the paper. And that tail was on there pretty good, I'm telling you. Alrighty, so here come my hardback books. And I love book stacks. I love to go to my favorite thrift store, Hello Goodbye. This is our a local charity thrift store run by St. Mark's Episcopal. And outside on this rack, hardback books are $0.25 and paperback books are only 10 cents. The only downside to this, because there's really no downside, that's a fantastic deal. The only downside is when they go outside onto that rack, they put a big red slash on the book pages, and I'll show you that to you in a minute. So I always have to put a little bit of paint over that red slash if I think it's going to show. And since I'm making all of these reversible, I do go ahead and cover up all the red slashes on these. I'm making these total blanks, so it could be used from all sides. I'm not hiding anything. And so here we go. We've got that covered with my baking soda. You can see there's some brush strokes there where the baking soda is nice and chunky. And then there's that red slash. Oy. That means it's a quarter, but you know, hey, inside I think hardbacks are $1. So I think I'm saving pretty good when I'm outside and I can get the size of book that I want. And so now I'm just taking the regular consistency paint and I'm covering up more of the black because, again, I'm just making blanks. So these can be used for anything. And I know that in the next book stack I'll do, a real quick one, I'm going to be taking paperback books and then tearing off the covers. And I know that could be done with these hardbacks as well, but that just is a whole lot of work. And when I can get paperback books for a dime, I just do the hardback books. They're going to be hardback. I'm going to use those as is with their covers. And so I'm taking, this is the plaster chalk paint with a little bit of baking soda in it. And that's going to make my pages kind of not stick totally together, but stay together so that it doesn't swell the pages because I am getting them wet. And when you get pages really wet, they're going to swell a little bit. All right, so we'll let those dry a little while. And let's play with these cute little chicks. So I'm taking my maize colored Waverly chalk paint from Walmart. I get all my Waverly paints from Walmart still. And now these have been, glued together, and they're all ready for paint. And had that cute little white base. That maize chalk paint would have looked very different with the original bright yellow under it. So now we've got two types of bunnies. And the bunnies with the feet had indented, textured eyes and noses. But the chicks and this little round bunny, they didn't have that textured, the eyes. And so I had to put these little blue dots from the Dollar Tree. Oh, he looks so sad. We'll fix you. On the chicks, and of course I'm doing it to this bunny because this bunny didn't even have a mouth, and I wanted him to have a little bit of a mouth. So we're going to give him a little mouth here with these dots. I like to use the raised stickers, the puffy stickers from the Dollar Tree, and then paint over them. I do that all the time. I love that effect. And so now I'm almost done with this particular bottle of paint. So I'm going to make the rest of it, because when you get to the bottom of the Waverly chalk paint, especially a bigger bottle like this, it gets thick anyway. And so I'm just going to add to that and make some nice, look at that, it's holding right onto that knife there. And so that now we're going to cover up, and it's going to cover up that bright blue. That's the only ones I could find. Those little dots come in all colors. I could have gotten the pearls, which were white, but the blue was what I had in my stash. So that's the theme of this video, crafting your stash. So we're going to cover up that blue, no problem. You can see those little chicks still have a little bit of blue eyes in them. But we're going to make some chunky maize paint. So I'm going to take a little bit of that baking soda filled plaster chalk paint and mix in some of the maize, and then we're going to paint that over our chicks. And because it's textured, it's almost going to take away his little waistband. He's going to look like he has a little belt on. On one of the chicks that I put some transfers on, I give him a little belt with a piece of yarn. Okay, now we're going to continue working on our blanks here, and all of the white blanks, well, not all of them, the glass and the wooden blanks and the aluminum tin blanks, they're going to be put in a little bit of water to wet distress, but I'm also going to use one of the sponges from the Dollar Tree. And these on the wrapper of the sponge, the sanding block, it says that you can use it in wet or dry. And so I use it all the time in the sink, and that just helps to wet distress so much easier. And then that sanding block is still usable. It will dry out and work just fine. But now these little Dollar General signs are MDF, and so they're not going to do well if I get them wet. So I'm going to, I just have a wet rag right there, and I'm going to use my sanding block dry, and then, you know, distress it, because I want to, you know, pull off some of that paint. It doesn't need to look so perfect. I like that distressed look. So now all of my white blanks are distressed and ready to rock and roll. We're going to get my book stack here. I did 3 books with the baking soda paint from the Restore, my Oops paint. There we go. And I'm just using my sheer bonder there with my hot glue sticks. And we're going to put those together so they sit nice and flush. And you can see they haven't swelled at all. They're all together because I did paint the, you know, covered up that red. Now look at this guy. These are those 3 little blocks that I distressed from the Goodwill bins. And I'm just going to put those together. Oh, goodness. My Siri, always talking to me. She's always listening. All right, so we're just going to put those together. And I'm just going to get a little bit of that glue that popped up. And we're going to decoupage that picture on there with the Mod Podge. Let's see if I do that. I think I'm going to do that later. Okay, now look at these little cuties. I do 2 of these tins from the bins. And one of them I'm going to use as a leaner. And that's going to be that one. And then this one, I'm going to put that long rectangular picture on, and I'm going to use these little napkin rings from my thrift store, Hello Goodbye, for little chunky legs. And I thought, should I paint them and distress them? And I still can, but for now, I'm just going to leave them just like this with their little wood legs. Look how cute. Okay, we'll see him finished in a minute. All right, so I kind of laid out all of my little designs from my JRV Decoupage paper. There we go. And I'm trying to decide kind of where I want to put them, how I want to do. There's another book stack that I've made that I had, and I decided to dress up a little bit. There's those little jars. Now that little guy, that little girl, we're going to put actually on one of those jars, and I'm going to use one of those to go And there he is. There's his little chunky legs. Oh, goodness. I just put little floral tops in him, and he looks so cute. All right. Now, this book I had already painted back when I was doing my Sage Blossom video when I was using the green. And I believe that was the Thrift Flip Road Trip back last month in March. And I didn't use this book in the video, and so I was just using it as a riser in my piano room, so I decided to put this little guy on there. The greens went really nice, and it has a little lamb. So pretty. So we're going to let that dry. And we're going to work on this taller book stack. There. Oh, cute. And this beautiful lamb picture. And I'm showing you, I'm going to put some ribbon or some lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree on that, kind of on the right side of the book stack. And so I'm going to offset this just a hair. There we go. Leave room for that ribbon. And so I'm just going to put some Mod Podge right over top and kind of work my fingers into the cracks a little bit. There we go, kind of pushing in. So it looks like it's a book, but I'm not going to tear it. I don't want to tear that picture. Okay, so now it's got a nice, if I want to put transfers, I always want to have, it sealed, and that's going to look better. Now, I'm going to put Easter isn't about the bunny, it's about the lamb. I get a little choked up when I say that. But I'm going to be using this transfer from my Redesign by Prima transfers, the cottontail, and then I've got these, I was watching one of my favorite crafters, Soozie from Soozie Stuff. She was using these cool Ray Dunn-like stickers from Amazon. And so I got some in gold. Look at that. And white and black. And I'm going to use the black ones in just a minute as well. But now this little blank I got at Hobby Lobby. They've got all of their St. Patrick's Day Decor for 90% off right now. So over in the clearance area, oh boy, look at that buggy. Oh boy, if my husband watches this, oh no. But it's all 90% off. I got most of this stuff for 30 cents, 40 cents. I believe this little guy was 40 cents. Some of it was, 50 cents. So, it's just a great time when Lobby Lobby puts something on 90% off, that's a great time to get blanks, because I'm making this something totally different than, I'm making it my own. I'm changing it from St. Patrick's Day to Easter. And then I've got the back is white, or that plaster chalk paint, and I can make it into, whatever I'd like on the back. So, anytime you see that 90% off, grab, and put them under a bed or put them in a drawer and have them ready for blanks. Oh, look at that chick. He's so cute. Has a little belt on. And then I use those same stickers and put little lamb right there on those. So pretty. And I'm going to decoupage this picture inside and use him kind of as a leaner. And then I'll use some of those foam roses from the Dollar Tree they had out at Valentine's Day. I got several of those, and they look great in there. They're that same plaster color as the plaster chalk paint, a little bit off-white. And then there we go. We see those red lines. So we know those cost a dime each. And so let's see, what is there, about 5 books there? So that's about 50 cents for this little book stack. Cutie patootie. I've already put a napkin, a musical napkin on top of it. And then that bunny picture looks so pretty. I just put some florals and some twine around on one side. And then look at this little cutie. I kept him super simple. It doesn't have to have this and that on it. Just a chunky sign. Goodness. That was that board from outside, that deck board. That real rough stuff that I had to sand a little bit. But I love those chunky signs. Okay, now this guy, he is a great little flower arranger, because that top shaker part works great as a floral frog. And keeps your florals standing up nice and straight. So it works perfectly as that. And this glass, painted glass, distresses so beautifully. And I just think looks great. And so I think I took 3 of those rectangular pictures from the JRV paper. And I went all the way around with this one. One of them, most of them are Easterish. That little boy's holding Easter eggs. And then one of them is just lambs. So I technically could turn it to the lamb side and use it all year round. Of course, as Christians, every Sunday is Easter Sunday. Every Sunday's a little Easter, we call it. And so I'm just decoupaging here. From Luke 24, it says, "And behold, 2 men stood by them in shining garments, and they were afraid and bowed down their faces." That's talking about the ladies who came, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary. "Bowed down their faces to the earth and said unto them, Why seek the living among the dead? He's not here, but he is risen." And so every day is a little Easter. So we can celebrate all year round Jesus' resurrection. And so these can hang on, and those little chicks are going to look so good on my refrigerator. And then I'm only going to use half of this one. I'm going to use the other chick. He's kind of looks like he's holding a notebook or a note of some sort. I'm going to use him on one of those mason jar signs. We're going to add him. Fussy cut him out, but we're just going to let those dry and take my nail files that I ordered from Amazon. They have a nice coarse grit, and they're great they're nice and long, so they're great for this type of sanding. I love the Dollar Tree sanding blocks, but those are my next go-to sanding item. I love both of those. And so a little Mod Podge on top, because we always seal before we add transfers. and we'll come back to that. All right, so here are my mason jars. I'm going to do half of them on the back side and half of them on the front side, because I kind of like the look of that wire on the back as well. The wire sanded off nicely and distressed beautifully too. All right, now I'm going to make a real quick kind of rustic book stack here for that cute picture of the little yellow chicks. And I have some in a video. I'm thinking I did it last Christmas. It might have been a Thrift Flip road trip. I did some praying hands. They were they're bookends. And so I'm going to do this book stack standing up. And I was trying to decide how many books. Did I need to use that one? I was trying to decide if I wanted to tear off but I put this in front and thought, yep, I need it. I need that other one too. So I kind of got them in the order that I liked. And they don't line up in the back, but they don't have to. So I'm going to get out my, this is that baking soda filled plaster paint. And the top part of the pages are going to show. So I wanted to kind of brighten up that one. That one was, I think, some kind of maps or something. I don't know. Anyway, the pages were a little dark. So I'm going to just kind of put those together flat in the front. You see they don't line up in the back, but it doesn't matter because they're going to stand up right vertically. And so I'm using my Surebonder again. And if you make a mistake here and get them not even, just tear off the page and do it again. This is just real forgiving. These book stacks are super easy to deal with. So now I'm going to even up. You don't have to do this. Honestly, the rough hewn tearing kind of looks cool, but for this, it was, with Easter decoupage, I decided to brighten up the fronts, and I was trying to just kind of clean off the edges there. Find if it's going to be on the ends, I like for it to look nice and not have any weird writing or weird pictures, and so that was just simple writing there. And so I'm just brightening up the outside. And then we're going to get the Mod Podge back. That's my Mod Podge brush. And put this on. Now, when I put the Mod Podge over top, it takes a little bit of that plaster chalk paint with it. See, there it goes. That's the Mod Podge. So I'm pulling a little bit of that plaster paint down on top and giving it kind of a frosted look. And then I push my fingers into the creases of the books. And they're going to dry up just really nice. And I'm going to wrap just a simple bit of yarn around the top there. And there are my bookends, my Bible bookends. And I just love the way that book stack turned out. Okay, now this has that plaster chalk paint on it. And I am playing it fast and loose here, putting a transfer on this chalk paint. Because normally this is not sealed. And so these little transfers from the Dollar Tree work really well. But now you're going to see in the final reveal some eggs, the chalked eggs. They're actually sidewalk chalk. And I tried to put these on those, and it wouldn't accept it. The chalk kept pulling off. So I had to Mod Podge those chalk. Look at that little chick and that bunny. Oh my goodness, that's cute. Imagine several of them lined up saying a sentence of some sort. But there's the transfers. There they are. Whenever I see these, because they're easy to cut out, they have a few that have lots of crossover on it. I put hope on that one. And I think I put life. Yeah, I put life on the chicks, on the baby chicks. Those are easy to cut out. Some of them are not. Now you can see here with my daughter's Save the Date invitation, I have it with the magnets as they were, which are great. I love them. I love the Dollar Tree magnets. And then, of course, the upcycled ones for Easter. Both looked great on my fridge. All right, so I just fussy cut this little guy out. He was my extra little chick that we didn't use on the magnet. And there is that jar, or that mason jar sign. Okay, now these florals came from Walmart. They're mainstays. And so I was trying to decide, did I like that bright green color of the leaf? Yeah, I liked it, but I decided to go ahead and take them off. But I saved those leaves. I saved stems. Anytime I'd snip off stems. Now, these, when I snipped them off with my wire snips, the flowers, I wanted a little more control over how they were placed inside. And so I'm going to, because I've already painted on the lid, I'm going to put salt in it, and so I can use it just a little more. It just gives me a little bit more freedom to put my stems where I want them, at the level that I want them. And I think this little shaker turns out to be a beautiful floral ranger vase. All right, now this lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree is probably my favorite ribbon at DT, and I use it all the time. And so I'm just going to do a simple little wrap and just a shoelace bow. And we'll trim it here. This is the Sage Blossom. This is folk art. I got this color at Michael's. And it is the same color as my favorite pistachio spray paint from Krylon. There's more of those foam roses from the Dollar Tree that I used before. Now here are those same stickers that I saw Soozie using from Soozie Stuff. You have to check out her YouTube channel. She is so energetic, and she's a retired teacher, and now she does YouTube, and she has great ideas. And so you definitely want to check her out, as well as the lovely ladies in the playlist from Lisa and Sarah, and Christine is the guest host this week, or this month. And the playlist is linked below, as well as their website, or their YouTube channels. And so I'm going to put on this one, the picture is a little girl with a lamb, and I'm going to put "O Lamb of God," one of my favorite songs by Darlene Check. And it's a great song. I like to do it sing that in our contemporary service. I like to do new songs that are new, but I also like to throw in some oldies but goodies in with the new stuff. I don't like to do too much new stuff. We have a lot of people with lots of their own favorites, so I like to cycle a lot of favorite songs in when I'm choosing songs for our contemporary service. Oh, I love that. That looks so good. And those 1-inch stickers, perfect for those hardback books. Okay, now sometimes this lace ribbon comes out kind of folded and, kind of matted. And so I just use my hair straightener. That's from my bathroom. I brought downstairs to straighten out this lace ribbon. A lot of times it'll come out nice, but, but it's about half and half. It's rolled on there nice and messed up, but it will straighten out nicely. Okay, now I decided I wanted some eggs on the sides of this one with the bunny with the eggs. And so I got out the Milos pages from IOD Transfers. This is from their spring release that came out on Valentine's Day this year. And so I'm going to put a few of these eggs and then a few of these floral transfers. You can see here I've got one on this side and an egg. And I've already put a blue egg on this side. And so I'm going to put this little white flower. And I'm just going to transfer. These IOD transfers go on beautifully. Perfect for a little zhuzhing up. You can see my chalked eggs there. And here we are at the final reveal. Oh, my living room hutch looks so fun. And there's that tag sign. I didn't get any video of me decoupaging that pretty deer on the tag. But it's blank on the other side, so I don't know. We'll have to put something fun on the other side. But I love the deer for Easter. It says Happy Easter on it. And then I put some more of those transfers. There's give. It looks like those kids have some eggs to give out. Little chicks with them. And there's our cute little bunny. He's one of the plain ones. It's hard to even see. Look at the little chick up there. You can barely see his little waistband where he comes together because of that baking soda paint. I love that technique. That looks so good. And here we go. Getting kind of a picture of the whole hutch. Gonna zoom in up here. There's our little bunny. I gave him a little belt. He's the one that has family transferred on it. And there's the other one. Look how cute. He was my one little middle one, and you can barely see his little middle. So pretty. And there's that little girl popping out of the egg I put on one of the jars. And here's our little kindness bunny or chick. So pretty. I am loving this decoupage paper. These vintage prints are so pretty. And they have so many. I've got some more decoupage paper from JamiRayVintage.com. I will link their page down below as well. So many great. And they just came out with some rice papers too. I'm definitely going to be ordering in my next order. They have a lamb. They have lambs. And then they have all kinds of different florals. I got, in my last one, I got also some pictures of ships that I'm going to do some coastal DIYs for my house for summer. And they're just beautiful. They're the blue of my living room. And so I just feel like they're going to be really pretty. And there's more of those chalked eggs. I put some napkin on some of those. Now you can see on that Cherish, some of that transfer didn't want to transfer, but we pressed on. I might have used a pencil to help that, or a little bit of a black marker. And then that book stack turned out so pretty. And I put some of my chalked eucalyptus that I do with the Dollar Tree leaves. And that little chunky sign, there was the other piece of wood, chunky sign. We put that cute little floral pick with those cute little, or floral picture. So cute. My goodness, I love it. I wanted to thank Lisa from Our Gray House and Sarah from Jujubee DIY and my friend Christine from the DIY Craftaholic. Be sure to check out the playlist below. But of course, this is the reason for Easter, the reason for living, the reason why I live and breathe. Easter isn't about the bunny. It's about the lamb. What marvelous love the Father has extended to us. Just look at we're called children of God, and that's who we really are. 1 John 3:1. The Holy Spirit, Jesus sends his Holy Spirit to comfort us as we walk this earth, and he promises eternal life forever with him. So from the blue house on the corner, gladly enjoying a day with my church family and my St. Simon's family. Happy Easter. God bless.